delicious Zuppa Toscana. If you have never made this soup or had it before, it is so good, so tasty, and I'm going to show you how to make this delicious Zuppa Toscana. Are you ready? Let's get started. Now, to make Zuppa Toscana, you're going to need some mild Italian sausage, some thick cut bacon. We're going to be using some chicken stock, some kosher salt, some red pepper flakes, black pepper, white onion, some garlic cloves, kale of course, heavy cream, and also some potatoes. So this is how we put it all together. So first what we're going to do is I'm going to share with you something that's really important with your kale. When you're using your kale, now you see how I have my fingers, my thumb here, and I'm going over the leaves of the kale. What I like to do is the day that I buy the kale from the grocery store, I take my thumb just like that and I run my kale under cold water, and I run it under cold water with my thumb, and I just really make sure that I'm loosening up any dirt or grit that may be clinging to the leaves, and then I wrap it in a paper towel and put it in my produce drawer. So that way when it's time for me to use it, the kale has dried off as well as it's nice and clean. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going and we're going to chop that up. And we're going to also use our white onion. Now you can also use a brown onion if you like, but I really like the flavor that the white onion gives. And I'd like to introduce myself to you. My name is Devon, and this is my channel, Cooking for the Family. And if you are new here, welcome. And if you're a returner, welcome back. And I invite you to hit that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Now, when you have your onion, we're used a half of a white onion, and that's going to be the equivalent of about 1 cup of chopped white onion. And when I chopped my onion, you want to chop your onion about the size of a dime, okay? You don't want your pieces to be too big in your soup, all right? Now next up, we're mincing our garlic, and I used 5 cloves of nice fresh garlic. Give that a really good mince, and then we're going to set that to the side. Now we're going to use our potatoes. Now the potatoes that I'm using are the Yukon Gold potatoes, and these are pretty big actually, Yukon Gold potatoes. You want to use about 1.5 pounds of potatoes. You don't want to take the skins off. Just go on and leave the skins on. Make sure that you've nice and cleaned off your potatoes, and we are using those Yukon Gold. You can also use Russet potatoes if you like as well, okay? I've cut my potatoes in half, and then you want to halve your potatoes like a half a moon. That's how you want to cut your potatoes for your Zuppa Toscana, okay? Now once we have that, and I'd like to, because we're going to use our potatoes a little later on once we get our soup started, and while we're waiting to do that, I like to put my nice chopped potatoes in a bowl of water, so that way when I'm ready for them, they are ready to go. Once we have all our ingredients, that we have all our veggies, next we're going to work on our meat ingredients, and that's going to be that thick cut bacon, and it's also going to be that mild Italian sausage. Now when I am cutting my bacon, I actually like to use my kitchen shears, and these kitchen shears are great, and so I just use my kitchen shears. It makes it quick and easy, and I'm cutting that thick cut bacon. If you don't have thick cut bacon, instead of using 3 pieces of thick cut, you can substitute it with 5 pieces of just regular cut bacon, okay? And that was about 1/4 inch to about 1/2 inch that I sliced, and I cut up that bacon. Next, we're going to use that Italian sausage. Now with the Italian sausage, I like to take the casing off. All right, so you see that little casing that comes on our sausage? I just use my kitchen shears again. I go up the sides just like that, and we're going to take that casing off, and we're not going to be using that casing. We're just going to throw that out, but it's going to make it easier for the sausage to brown up, as well as for us to also mix up and break up that sausage once we put it into our pan, okay? And so go on and take off that casing, because like I said, we're not going to be using that at all. All right, folks, so we have gotten our veggies prepped. We've taken care of the prep of our meat, and now I'm just going to give my hands a nice good wash, and then we're going to go on and start building up our soup. You ready? Let's do it. And hey, comment down below, guys, and let me know if you've ever had the Zuppa Toscana at Olive Garden, and let me know, give this recipe a try, and you tell me, did I hit it out the park with this recipe? Because the Zuppa Toscana at Olive Garden is one of my family's favorites, and so that's why I really enjoy making it at home. So in our pot, we put 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and to that we're going to add our 5 mild Italian sausage links. Now I have my pot on a medium high heat, and I'm using my spoon to move around the sausage and break them up. Now something that I had noticed before is that when we've had the soup before at a restaurant, that the Italian sausage did not have any burnt or scorched marks on the sausage, but it was always cooked thoroughly through. Now you see I do have a couple of the scorch marks, and that's not quite what I wanted to have happen, but nonetheless what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're always moving your sausage around, because like I said, I noticed that the soup that I've had before at the restaurant, the sausage was always cooked thoroughly through, but there weren't any of those burnt or scorch marks. And so you want to make sure that you're always moving your sausage around in your pan to avoid any of those scorch marks, but as well to make sure that you've cooked your sausage nice and through. Now once we've done that and I've broken up the sausage and it's all cooked, you go on, and I like to use my spoon there and just take all the sausage out of the pan, but we want to leave those drippings right there. Now to our pan, our nice hot pan, we're adding in our bacon, and that was 3 slices of thick cut bacon that we're adding right to the pan with those drippings from our Italian sausage. We are going to brown up our bacon and just keep moving it around the pan. Brown up your bacon just like I did there, and you see, and you're going to also start to build up some nice fond in the bottom. And you see how like the brown marks, that browning that's in our pot, that's called and referred to as fond, and that's what you want to start building up in your pot, because that is going to give so much good flavor and richness to your soups. Okay. And so just like that, now once we have our bacon is nice and browned up, we are going to dip off some of this oil that's in the pan, because we don't want to have too much of that bacon grease in that oil. So we're going to go on and dip some off, and we're only going to end up with about 2 tablespoons of oil left. 2 tablespoons of those drippings are going to be left. So go on and dip most of it off, and you're just going to have about 2 tablespoons left. Now once you have that 2 tablespoons left, you've dipped off the rest, you're adding in your onion now. You're going to add in your onion and saute those onions around. We don't want to really brown our onions, but we want to saute them and get them nice and soft, because that's what you want. You don't want your onion to be crunchy in your soup. You want your onion to be nice and soft and sauteed with that bacon and that little bit of drippings that was left in there, just like that. Now, as an alternative, if you didn't want to use bacon, you can leave the bacon out. And if also you wanted to use the turkey mild Italian sausage, you can substitute the pork Italian sausage that I'm using for the turkey Italian sausage. But what you'd want to do though is that you'd want to add 1 additional tablespoons of the olive oil, just to kind of increase that extra flavor, and the olive oil, the sauteing for the onions as well in your pan. But in the description box below, I'll also have that listed as an alternative to making your Zuppa Toscana. Now we've put in our garlic, and that was our 5 minced garlic cloves, and we're mixing all that around. Our onion had started to soften up. You put your garlic in there, and we're only going to be mixing and sauteing for about 2 minutes is what we did. Next, we're going to add in our 1 carton, which is 1 quart. We're adding in this 1 quart of chicken stock, and you can use either chicken broth or either chicken stock, and you're going to add in just 1 box at first, and then I use my spoon to just go on and mix and stir around, because I want to really lift up that fond and all that good flavor from the bottom of our pot. You just want to go on and just mix that all around, and you only want to start off with that 1 box, because if you have too much liquid, it's going to be harder to mix and without everything splashing up. Okay, and so next we're adding in our potatoes. Now once I've got my potatoes in, I just like to go on and push them down a bit, and then we're adding in our second quart of that chicken stock. all the way, and we're going to use that full quart. Now, if you are making a little less soup for yourself, or maybe you're just making it for a couple of people, you can take these ingredients and just half the ingredients, okay? Next, we're going to use that crushed red pepper flakes. Now, I know everyone has some of these, those little packets of those red pepper flakes someplace in their drawer in their kitchen. Not make your soup spicy, but it will give a nice background flavor, like, what's that? It'll give that nice background flavor to our soup. And now the one packet was equivalent to half of a teaspoon. We'll put the top on our soup. I let our soup come to a nice boil. Once our soup is at a nice rolling boil, we're going to add back in, and our potatoes have started to get nice and tender. And so now we're going to add back in that sausage, that Italian sausage that we had cooked earlier. We're going to add those to our pot right now. Now, if anyone is still skeptical about those red pepper flakes, just add a pinch, just add a little pinch, and then give your soup a taste and see how you like it. And then you can go on and add in that full half a teaspoon of those red pepper flakes, and then you know what I'm talking about. You'd be like, okay, yeah, I see what she's talking about. Now, once we have all of our Italian sausage that we've added back into our pot, we're adding in our kale. And our kale we have there 4 cups of chopped kale. And this is such a great way to especially get the family to have that nice dark greens, that kale. And so we're going to add in our kale. We mush it down. We're just going and just mush it down, just push it down just like that in our pot. And our soup is ready. Now, before we add in our last ingredient, which is our heavy cream, your soup is ready just like this. But we like that cream base to our Zuppa Toscana. And that was half of a cup of heavy cream. And so we add that half a cup of heavy cream. You mix everything together, just incorporate everything, and your soup is ready. So now we're going to give it a try. I'm going to go on and serve us up some. We see those pieces of bacon in there, those nice tender potatoes, the kale, and let's see how it tastes. Look at that. Wow, I think we outdid ourselves today, y'all. Wow. Okay. Now this first bite, this is for y'all. Ready? Here you go. Okay, my turn. Let me give it a try. Oh, the broth is so good, y'all. It is so good. It is so smooth and creamy. You taste all the flavor in there. And you know what? We did not even need to add the kosher salt or the pepper at all. It is just full of flavor. Well, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go on and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to show it some love and give it a thumbs up. And remember, it is always good when Devon is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.